What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to NFL Turf Talk. We are live here on the DSM Media Twitter page as well as the DSM Turf Talk YouTube channel. So, guys, first and foremost, make sure to check us out on Twitter at DSM_media is where you can find us. And then make sure to check out the link tree in our bio. It will take you to all of our YouTube channels. If you want NFL-only content, make sure to check out this link that you can see pulled up on your screen here. Subscribe, share it with your friends, family, any other sports or football fans that you may know that could enjoy the content. We greatly appreciate each and every one of you. I'm one half of your host, Dylan Davis. To my right, my faithful co-host, Scotty. This is your Week 10 recap show. We're going to get into a bunch of Week 11 as well, since we will not be live over the course of the weekend. Our updated top 10 power rankings, whatever else you guys want to get into in the comments, make sure to just drop a few. And like I said, we appreciate it, brother. Happy Wednesday. And what is going on?
Happy Wednesday, my brother. Second show of the day, of course, but we're touching on
number three for you.
Yeah. You're right. I just got done the NBA show. That's airing over on the NBA to the Galaxy podcast channel. If you're into the NBA stuff, check that out later. But it's been a great day. We're gonna finish off with some NFL talk to get us right for the weekend, and then, of course, as you mentioned, we've got a busy weekend ahead of us for the both of us, so we won't be here to entertain. But we will be back next week. But yeah, man, I'm excited for Week 11 mostly. There's some big matchups in Week 11. But we got to start with Week 10. There were some takeaways. There were some big matchups, maybe some little outputs. But I'm just thinking about, two of our top 5 teams in the power rankings that put up a whopping 10 points each this past week. So it's very interesting the way the NFL is ultimately shaping out. But yeah, I'm happy to be here with you, brother.
Same here, man. But look, let's start in Week 10, like you mentioned. And I guess the first thing I'm looking at across this board is how many teams that we were interested to see some of these battles or see how they respond coming off of a bad loss or a big win in some teams' cases. Some of these teams got punked on Sunday afternoon and really make themselves head in the wrong direction for us. And when we get to power rankings, you'll understand why. But just looking across the board, I mean, the Bills had their Super Bowl yet again in the regular season. They beat Patrick Mahomes 2 weeks ago and the Chiefs, and the Bills are back on track. And now that's another, not only a loss on their record, losing to Miami after everyone just assumes Miami is dead and buried, and they sell at the deadline and get rid of Jalen Phillips and all of that nonsense that's going on down there. 30-13. Buffalo held scoreless through the first 3 quarters. They lost to the Falcons a few weeks ago. Like them, as well as like the Packers, like we mentioned, some other teams have some really bad losses on their resume this year that make me question just who you are as we move forward. You and I kind of broke down the Rams and Niners game. The Niners get that win in LA a few weeks ago, very shorthanded, missing everybody offensively. And the Rams dropped 42 on them in Santa Clara. That game was never really within 2 possessions for the most part of it. The Steelers were abysmal on Sunday Night Football offensively. They lose by 15 to the Chargers and only scored 10 points. There were some teams in the playoff hunt. I mean, even a team I take a little less seriously in Jacksonville. You got Davis Mills, man. And that, I mean, it is funny, that Houston team who can't do anything with CJ Stroud, 36-29, Texans come away with a win. So there are some teams that really took a hit resume-wise for me in this past week, in a week where there weren't a ton of exciting matchups that you and I were looking into.
Yeah, no, and a team that did not take a hit, at least negatively, this week. It is another team in the AFC, man. The New England Patriots.
They
go into Tampa, and I get it. Like, there's no Chris Godwin, no Bucky Irvin. They're missing quite a few guys, on the Buccaneers offense, but they've been coping this year. Egbuka's been great. Egbuka scores in this game, right? But Baker, after that, is really not able to get it going. I know he gets Tez Johnson included, but it was just up and down for most of that game. And the Pats, man, they just continue to step up to the challenge when called on, right? Not all of their games have been, spectacular matchups by any means, but they played the Bucks, they played the Bills so far, and they've been able to go and beat these teams, and this time on the road in Tampa, which it's
a big
Drake
win.
May, man, just continues. But it kind of my other point was kind of feeding into what you were getting at, and most of the teams you discussed are over in the AFC, because on the NFC, man, like you mentioned the 49ers, yeah, they kind of fell down a bit.
Yeah.
But the Rams, they're blowing teams out. The Seahawks are blowing teams out. So these teams are on the uprisal. But the AFC, man, the AFC is just wide open. It's just wide open. You look at the last couple of weeks, you had Kansas City lose to Buffalo last weekend. To your point, Buffalo comes out, loses to Miami this weekend. Badly. Like
doors blown off.
We want to say double digits by 3 possessions.
Yeah.
Like, it's ridiculous the way they lost. Achane went off, another running back going off against the Bills. That seems like a trend. New England wins in Tampa. Denver beats Las Vegas by 3. Right? That's one of those teams scoring 10 that I mentioned earlier. And then to your point, the Chargers dominate the Steelers, and you have to ask yourself coming out of that game, can I even take the Steelers serious?
Yeah, man. And I know we're kind of bouncing all around the AFC here, but
center
to kind of combine it all together, another game that we haven't mentioned in the first 5 minutes, I was ready to bury them. I truly wanted to bury them. I looked at that defense and how disgusting it was. And even before the injury to their quarterback, they weren't playing good football and they were losing games. So what's going to change just because he comes back? And I'm watching what the Steelers are doing, and now the Ravens win 2 in a row since Lamar's return.
Yeah.
And they're 4-5. Now, granted, this was against J.J. McCarthy, and then the week prior, they played Miami. So, to be fair, they haven't come back and played any great quarterbacks or elite competition. But nonetheless, the Ravens, who were dead in the water, are now a game behind the Pittsburgh Steelers. Yeah. With what I believe both are still in the future to be played between those teams, right? I don't recall them playing each other so far this year.
I would have to double check.
I don't want to get that wrong, so let me check. Yeah, they have not played each other yet.
Okay.
They line it up for the first time in 4 weeks, and then they play in the last week of the regular season in Pittsburgh. So that very well could come down to that Week 18 matchup against the Steelers. But yeah, man, I'm looking around and even the Colts in the Sunday morning game, it took overtime to beat the Falcons. Yeah. So to your point, let me ask you this. After all of this taking place, right? And I know the Bills are one of the teams that I'm about to say, and they just lost, and the Chiefs were coming off a bye, and they lost the week before. So it's not like those two teams played great football over the last week.
Right.
But for the first X amount of weeks this season, we were kind of talking a lot about, is it the changing of the guard a bit? Is the AFC going to have a surprise team or two? And when you're seeing all these ups and downs and flows from some of these other teams that we maybe don't trust because they don't have the history with us, are you back to thinking this conference is Kansas City's, Baltimore's, and Buffalo's? Or can any of those other guys continue to make a run? I know Denver won, but we continue to talk about Denver's.
I know. They got a huge matchup this week.
Yeah. I get great point. I guess we're gonna find out in a sense, right? One game doesn't define it. It's the middle of the regular season. But if you don't show up and Kansas City beats the shit out of you this weekend, we're back to square one.
Yeah, the Broncos. I mean, it's weird, man. Is it a good thing or a bad thing that 5 of their 7 wins have come by less than or equal to 4 points? Is that a good trait that you win close games, or is that a bad trait? Right.
I mean, something we asked about the Sixers earlier. Now, obviously, different type of schedule and 82 games versus 17, but I think it's obviously a positive when it comes to crunch time. You have that experience, but you're not winning close games all against the likes of the Eagles and the Chiefs and the Bills and
got some
yada.
Giants mixed in there. You got some Raiders mixed in there.
And Jake Browning and the Bengals. You're winning close games against poor competition.
Yeah.
So, no, I don't think that's a positive to take away from when it comes to the Broncos.
But you do just have to give them the respect. They've
Sure,
been able to
sure.
put
I mean,
together the wins,
wins
and
continue to pile up.
as
I
long
have
as they
to.
continue to pile them up, we're going to continue to give them that respect.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is something to pay attention to with these teams, man. And that's why I say that about the Steelers, because not that high on the Chargers in the first place. So if you're getting just dogged out to the point where you cannot do anything offensively, right? Aaron Rodgers was struggling, no ground, not
Terrible.
much on the ground. Jalen Warren had a
Which is
spectacular
why
play.
they should have made a move at the deadline, Scotty. They should have
Yeah.
brought in a wide receiver for that offense, man.
Yep,
It's why
'cause
I
it's looking
questioned
very
what
bare.
was my initial point to you when they brought in DK Metcalf last spring and
Why get
traded
rid of
George
George
Pickens.
Pickens?
Now,
Yeah,
don't get me
why
wrong.
get rid of him?
More could have went into that. It could have been the distraction, the personality within the locker room. We all know how George Pickens can be sometimes.
Yeah,
But if it wasn't, if it wasn't correlated to like distractions,
yeah,
I didn't understand it because you already had the George Pickens you had George Pickens himself.
yeah.
All you were missing in the past was a complementary piece. Well, then you got DK Metcalf, but then you traded George. Like it just never made any fucking sense to me. And you did nothing to replace George Pickens' talent in the offseason or at the deadline.
Yeah. No, I agree, man. And it's very apparent on this offense. They're just not very scary, right? Outside of DK Metcalf. And once you put a lid on that, it's hard to find like where the rest of the offense is going. And I think
everything good.
I was just gonna say the point of them like using Kenneth Gainwell so early on this season so much. You know what I mean? Like relying on that. Like it looks good at times. You're like, man, Gainwell's getting an opportunity.
They are just as bland and as mid as you can get name wise on offense.
Yeah.
I mean, Jalen Warren, who in the hell?
I think Jalen Warren is good, but like to your point, name value, yeah.
But so same, like, but just across the board, Pat Fryermuth, cool, right?
Solid.
Pat Fryermuth scaring you? You got a game plan for Pat Fryermuth? Do you got the game plan for Jalen Warren and
they're
Kenny
like
Gainwell?
they're the bootleg Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, and that's saying something. And that's that. Yeah, like we called the Packers the Walmart version of the Eagles. If the Steelers skill position players outside of DK, are the bootleg Steelers. I mean, they're like the Goodwill Eagles at that point.
They spent too much on DK. They had to go get the rest at Dollar Tree.
Yeah,
like,
man. Like it is bad.
Yeah.
It's if you're a Steelers fan, man, how frustrated do you have to be, really? Because the names and the level of talent they went out and got on defense, and you make the DK move, and you bring in Rodgers, which obviously comes with huge question marks and the age and everything with what happened in New York, but you were craving a quarterback that can play in that can play in big situations. You brought in a number one wideout. You elevated the defense on paper, and you're just about what you've been in Mike Tomlin's basically entire career, bro. Like 500. Like, and listen, I like Mike Tomlin a lot. I really do. But I've never seen a head coach get praised as much as he does for like not having losing seasons. But like, if you just go down the Steelers since like, Ben Roethlisberger has retired, they are as 8-8, 9-7 when it was a 16-game schedule. Like they are just so floating around 500, a game or two around 500 every year. And it's like they get praised because they're never bad. They never stink. They're always in the hunt. I'd rather stink and be excited for the draft than be what you are, man.
And get a good quarterback. No, I think to your point, earlier that you were making, the Ravens and the way they looked against the Vikings, and since Lamar came back, they've looked a lot better. And, it was pointed out on the broadcast, I think it was the game before the game against the Vikings for the Ravens. I think it was Lamar's first game back. They were talking about a defensive addition in Alohi Gilman. I won't lie to you, I'm not super familiar with him, but he's made a huge impact since he's come over from the Chargers to this Ravens secondary, and they have not given up. Let me see here. They have not given up over 20 points since he has come onto the squad, which is a big feat compared to where they were to start the season. So yeah, I just remember them the broadcast talking about him a bit and how he's kind of connected the back end of that defense, allowed Kyle Hamilton to go play up near the line of scrimmage like he likes to do, move all around the defense. So their defense is looking better, right? It hasn't been the competition. It hasn't been worldly, but I mean, you know, it's stepping stones. And you start to look at the rest of that division, you start to look at the Steelers, and things start to look a lot more realistic because when the Steelers team plays the Ravens and Lamar Jackson, I can't see myself picking the Steelers. That being said, the Steelers will find a way to beat the Ravens one of those times. Like, there's no reason really that they should. Their defense will step up to the call. They'll answer the call, and they'll win one of them. I bet you.
I'm only slightly joking when I ask this because one side of the ball is still as bad as it comes in the National Football League.
Yeah.
But a certain someone who was dealing with a severe case of turf toe is on the practice field, and they're eyeing a return in 2 to 3 weeks. Now, they're 3-6. They're not in like a good spot.
Right.
But the leader of that division is 5-4. And the leader of that division, they just so happen to play this week in Pittsburgh. 3-6 versus 5-4. Now, if Joe Flacco and that team could find a way to win and make the Steelers 5-5, themselves 4-6, and even if Baltimore wins, they're 5-5, tied with Pittsburgh.
That's so wild.
You're a game out, and Burrow is on the horizon. Now, you lose the next 2 weeks. I don't even see why Joe Burrow would come back and risk anything to play the rest of the season. But if they could win, they're 5.5-point underdogs this Sunday in Pittsburgh. But if Joe Flacco can find a way to get it done, because correct me if I'm wrong, did they beat the Steelers on Thursday Night Football in that crazy game, or did the Steelers come back and win? Why can I not remember? I think the Steelers came back
when he was on the. Are you saying when he was on the Browns, Flacco?
No. Oh no, the Bengals beat them 33-31. Remember that shootout Thursday night game they had a couple weeks ago?
Oh, you're right, man.
Yeah, the Bengals already have beaten the Steelers.
You are right. How did I forget about that?
So, look, I'm just saying it would be funny, and it would add
that was Joe Flacco's coming out party for the Bengals, man. Yeah, you're right. Because I was looking at the Bengals
to this division.
I was looking at the Bengals, and I've thought about bringing up Joe Burrow. You know, I love me some Joe Burrow, man. I really do. But I was just like, is it realistic with the Ravens coming? But no, when you paint it that way, it is interesting, man. And I was just about to say, because I went only back to the Bengals game against the Jets, and they did lose against the Jets 39-38. They scored 38. They scored 42 in the loss against the Bears, and they scored 33 in that win against the Steelers. Right.
So with that mindset,
why can't Flacco torch this defense?
Right. Well, not just that, but the problem then is with what I'm kind of throwing out there is it doesn't matter if it's Joe Flacco, Joe Burrow, Joe Montana. They're scoring like they normally do. The defense still can't stop you and I. So
it's a good point. It's not going to change the defense. Yeah, that's a great point.
Like Joe Flacco's throwing for like 470 and 4 tutties, and it's not making a difference.
They really are. The last 2 years, this has got to be like one of the worst 2-year defenses of all time.
Sure. Yeah, we're coming off the bye, so we'll see, man. Kind of last thing that I take away from Week 10 that we did have a coaching firing.
Yeah, right.
Brian Daboll, see you. Out of New York, they actually had a 10-point lead with like 5-6 minutes left in Chicago, which wasn't a great look for Caleb Williams and them, but they do come back 14-3 in the fourth quarter, find a way to win 24-20. The Bears 6-3, 3-1 at home, so I will give them credit. But they're just the same kind of Bears team. Like I can't quite take them super seriously.
Well, I was going to ask you something about the Bears, man, just while you're right there. I know what you just said, but like looking at the rest of the division, the Packers like aren't what we thought they were. Like the Packers can be great defensively, but if you can't put up over 10, 13 points the last couple of weeks, you're going to have some trouble, right? Even against the Bears. So, like, can the Bears win the division? Is that, like, how much of a stretch is that? Is what I'm asking.
I can't do it because, look, I was trying to remember this. They've played within this division twice this year. It's 2 of their 3 losses. Week 1, they lost to Minnesota. Or no, more recent. No. Yeah, week 1, they did lose to Minnesota 27-24. But then, I mean, they took an absolute spanking from the Lions in week 2, 52-21. So it's like
fair. 52.
It's like I do understand. I do get where you're coming from, and it would be fun to have another team in the mix and see how those battles go. But like in the short amount of evidence we do have through 9 games, you're 0-2 within the division, and one of them's an ass whooping.
I guess what I was looking at, because you make a great point. Like, yeah, if you don't win games in your division, it's going to be really hard. Can they just get lucky in a sense of they have the easiest schedule within the division, right? And then, if the Lions and the Vikings and the Packers are just losing to all the good teams on their schedule, what do those records end up looking like?
It's just like I'm looking because I was thinking about I don't like how they play football. I know people like say that about art. It's not a boring thing. Like it's not the same way from that sense. It just feels like they never win a game convinced. They beat the shit out of the Cowboys like weeks ago. I remember that.
Yeah, 31-14.
They beat the Raiders 25-24. They beat the Commanders 25-24. They beat the Bengals 47-42. They had to come from behind at home down 10 to beat the Giants 24-20. Like you want to talk about playing in tight matchups, crunch, which again can be a positive, but not when it's the Giants and the Raiders and so on and so forth. So I just don't love how they play. I feel like it's always going to be a close game. And when you're talking close game, Bears, Packers, Bears, Lions, I can't find myself to trust them as of
I just looked at their schedule too, and I say they have the easiest schedule in the division, but they must have like gone through all the easy games already.
Right.
Because they got the Vikings, Steelers, Eagles, Packers, Browns, Packers, Niners, Lions. So 2 non-playoff teams in there.
We'll see, man. They could prove me wrong over the stretch and be a playoff team.
They do get a lot of turnovers. They are. I believe they get the most turnovers in the NFL for a defense. So at least going into last
before we move on, the Brian Daboll firing. They're 2-8.
Oh yeah.
Mike Kafka interim taking over. Jackson Dart out this week, injury. Jameis Winston announced the starter this week from Kafka already. I mean, obviously, I think it's the easy move to fire Brian Daboll. I don't necessarily even think it's a wrong or bad move. Like I know some people are questioning. Obviously, you can question, what's it, Joe Sheen? Like how is Joe Sheen still involved up there?
Yeah.
If Daboll goes, Sheen would have to go. Why do you think now was the point? Like, do you think it was the Dart injury? And I'm being kind of serious. Like the way that Brian Daboll seemingly sticking his head into the blue medical tent when Dart takes a shot, get him the fuck back. Like this dude was throwing this kid to the wolves to try to save his job. Obviously, they're 2-8. They continue to lose games regardless.
Yeah.
Why do you think 10 weeks in that move was made now?
It's one of those situations where there's so many different, writings on the wall that it like you can pick one, right? Like they're 2-8, the struggles the last few seasons, the quarterback situation, right? Whether it was him not wanting to go with Dart, early, or him, pushing Dart out there earlier than what the organization wanted. And then you get the injuries, right? The Cam Scatabo, and then this Dart one where he's forcing him back out onto the field. And it's just not a good look. And I think it's one of those things where he was going to lose his job either way at the end of the season. So you want to like go out and do and be reckless. And, you know, he's trying to go all out and try to save his job
For
at this
sure,
point.
which is
They're going in a different
reek of
direction.
desperation.
They don't
And
need
let
to
me
win
ask you, man.
games right now. Like, I think he was, and they were playing in a lot of close games, I feel like, which, like, come on. Why are we doing that?
From a different standpoint, how much of it is culture? Because like when he came in and they win 10, 11 games his first year, they make the playoffs, they lose to us in the divisional round in 22. And obviously it's been torture since then for the Giants and Daboll. But this year, man, like obviously you lose Scatterbo, you lose Neighbors, Dart's now hurt, obviously, whatever. But like with that defense, you lost 40-37 in a game in which Russell Wilson threw for like 500 yards against the Cowboys in week 2.
Yeah.
You blew a point lead in Denver just a few short weeks ago, and you just blew a 10-point lead for the fourth quarter to the Bears. That's bad culture to me. That's like it doesn't matter who's at, you should be able to escape those games. Like Denver, that's a win, bro.
Yeah.
This past week, like that, think about the Cowboys game that they lost, where Russ threw the bomb to Neighbors with 42 seconds left in the game, and they're celebrating. And the defense gives it up. Like, that's, to me, the team, the locker room, the culture, that's just poor culture in New York at that point.
Yeah, no, I do agree. But I think from their standpoint, you can clean that culture up by getting rid of that guy. And, you know, the point with the GM, I think, is, you know, he gets a pass because he got Scatterbo and he got Dart. Like, I think it is as simple as that. He got Neighbors in last year, right? He's put together some good drafts, if we're being quite honest. I mean, they got Abdul Carter as well. So they did put together a hell of a draft class. And you're not getting the results that you really wanted. And I think they were probably 50-50 with the Bowl coming into this season. Like, do we really want to, you know, it's like, do you want to have a rookie quarterback, rookie running back, and then you're mixing in Russell Wilson? I don't know. I'm sitting here confusing myself with their situation, quite honestly. So let me stop talking about it, because I'm sitting here confusing myself. Like, do you want a rookie head coach in here with rookie court? But they had Russell Wilson, so maybe that's why you keep the Bowl, but then you move on from Russell Wilson so quick. And now it's time to tank, right? That's where they're at. So that's all that matters now. The Bowl is out. It's time for them to tank. And I think his time was up there, man. That's what it comes down to.
Brian Daboll calling plays in Philadelphia. Seen a lot of talk about that. I
mean, he did get Malik Neighbors the ball, didn't he?
I mean, listen, I said it jokingly only because people immediately
they've been saying
Twitter went to that. And obviously, when you're talking, you know, the culture, if I'm mentioning losing culture and the fact that he got fired, whatever. But I mean, yes, like I would take I would take the shot in the dark of Brian Daboll calling plays for me than Kevin Patullo right now.
It couldn't be worse. No. It could not. It couldn't. I truly believe that.
Yeah, so I know people are like, "Oh, don't do it." I mean, I would. It's just not going to happen.
It's not gonna happen. Yeah, he just coached the Giants. I mean,
and it's like, and that's the thing. Like, no one should be banging the table for it. Like, oh, please, please, please. I will.
Is he even allowed? Is he allowed? Is he allowed? Like, would he be allowed to join our coaching staff mid-season after he left the Giants? Like, he could just bring their whole like.
I believe.
I know they could change it obviously with a new coach, but
they fired him.
Just bring the whole like inside detail to another team.
Yeah, but it's not like he quit. It's not like he walked out the door.
They did fire him.
Just walked into the Eagles locker room. They fired him. But no, I'm only joking when I say that.
Do you think? Let me ask you this, just because you did bring it up. Like, do you think he got like a fair shake given the injuries?
Yes, I think so. That 2022 season is a long time ago. And and I think if we're being honest, how much of the decision is also in correlation with what's going on in Indianapolis this year? Because you couldn't make it work with that dude. Mm-hmm. And I'm still not a believer in that, dude. Like, I'm not sitting here saying, you idiot, how'd you let Daniel Jones slip out of your hands? How did you, whatever, how didn't you have any success? But it's like, you clearly can't make it work with that dude. He leaves last year. He's having an MVP year to a lot of people's minds. The Colts are running away with their division. And you're having the year you had, injuries, but dude, injuries happen to everybody. Obviously, they're not the team, they're not the foundation that like the 49ers have. But think about all the time what we talk about with Kyle Shanahan, the hand he has this year, that they're being dealt with injuries. So it's like
they're like a season late though. You know, they could have fired him last year and like went after Ben Johnson.
Agreed. So. And it'll be interesting to see like who's available this year, who becomes available this year, and what do you go with, right? Because Dable was obviously the Josh Allen whisperer when he left Buffalo, and the quarterback guy. Hey man, they win a Super Bowl. I promise you, someone will come knocking for Kevin Patullo.
You ain't lying, man. You ain't lying.
And I will be the happiest person ever. I will drive him to the airport personally to send him on his flight. But
I did want to ask you. Yeah. I wanted to ask you one more thing regarding week 10. I don't know if you had anything else as well. My bad.
No, you're good.
But we talked about the AFC. New England, right? Like,
nah, I can't. I know what you're asking me, and it is so funny enough. I'm glad you did say that because when I do mention the others, I feel like I do forget to say New England. That's not on purpose. I'm not leaving. I just legitimately forget to mention them. New England is probably, Scotty, number 1 or number 2 on my list of like the others. Like if you're
that's kind of what I'm asking.
They are there. It's a little similar to me in the terms of like the Colts. Like, do I think the Colts can win the Super Bowl? Not only do I not think so, I'll tell you definitively, absolutely not.
Yeah.
So, like, the Patriots, Drake May is amazing this year. Travion Henderson got a shot last week, took one to the house.
Yeah.
Diggs is playing pretty well. They just don't have Vrabel, that defense. Like, I get it. They just don't have enough offensively. Like, when you're talking about playoff, you're going to be talking January soon. And Stephon Diggs is your number 1 option on the outside, and what's his name? Kayshon Boutte, and
it is
that
tough,
his first
man.
name. Hunter Henry. I don't think they have enough. If I'm being honest, I don't even want to say think. I don't believe that they have enough to go and do anything like that. Do I think they could win a playoff game in the wild card round? Depending on the matchup, yeah, I think that could be a possibility. But do I think they're going to be in any sort of like AFC championship fight? No, I don't. How about you?
I know they. I guess I have a hard time putting anybody definitively over them. Like, I do feel you, but like I just keep going back in my head with the Chiefs. It's like they just like got manhandled by the Bills, who just got manhandled by the Dolphins. Like,
sure.
I do feel you. Like, it is Pat Mahomes. Like, I get it. But like, what if?
Can I read you?
Because the Chiefs aren't going to host the Pats at this rate. You know what I mean?
Sure. Can I tell you something?
Chiefs are 5-4.
Can I tell you something?
What's up?
That means absolutely 0 to me. I think if it got to Foxborough in January, they will lose by 2 possessions. Can I read you? We continue to talk about resumes here.
It's like KC, man. When do they lose the benefit of the doubt? They're 5-4.
Just let me read you the resume here. Because 8-2 is 8-2. Just like Denver, just like whatever. They beat the Bills 23-20 on that Sunday night game. It's a humongous win. It's a big win. And they did just beat Tampa Bay down in Tampa Bay. That's a very nice win.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the other 6. Falcons by 1 at home. The Browns, the Titans, the Saints, the Panthers, the Dolphins. They've lost to the Raiders and the Steelers by 7 each. That's their 2 losses. That's the resume. The resume is 8-2 is 8-2. I have to give you credit, just like I have to give the Denver Broncos credit. The Bills is a huge win, just like the Eagles are a huge win for the Broncos. Falcons, Cleveland, Titans, Saints, Panthers, Dolphins. That's your 6 other wins. You ain't war tested, brother. And I like them. Like if I'm being honest, well, I will be rooting for New England if they were to play
What I'm
City or
wondering
Buffalo.
is I'm wondering if we're not giving New England enough credit defensively. I think that's what's running through my head. Like, this is a Mike Vrabel-led defensive unit. They've added a lot of pieces this offseason, and they are winning football games. I don't know. I'm looking at the Chiefs, schedule like that. They do. They have like some signature wins, like, against the Lions. That's a good win. Ravens before Lamar went down.
Can I just
Throw out
one
Eagles.
devil's advocate?
They lost to the Jags. They lost to the Bills.
Just let me throw out one devil's advocate card. It's the Chiefs. like
what if Drake May is a guy? Like that, when you said the Colts, I was like, yeah, but Drake May is a guy and Daniel Jones is not. Like, in my head. Like, that's what
I
thought immediately. Then I thought about Jonathan Taylor, to be fair.
I think Drake May is in the running for MVP. I think Drake May is playing top 3 to 5 in the position right now today. How he's playing this year. I think that's what the work is put together. I love what Vrabel has done, and defensively what they've done for the most part of the year. But what I'm saying is, when we get into these, because this is hypothetical.
Yeah.
And you are 1,000% correct. Well, here's the Patriots resume. Here's the Chiefs resume. The problem is, I have about 5 to 6 straight years of Patriots irrelevancy.
It is fair.
And I have 5 to 6 straight years of championships in Kansas City. So it's like you're the Chiefs. So
do you give the Pats? Let's take the Chiefs away. Do you give the Pats? Where do you put them with the Bills?
I mean, look, they are. What can I say?
Like Josh Allen, because Josh Allen's playing some sloppy football right now. He's turning the ball over.
So can I? So okay, exactly.
Interesting.
Right? Let me throw this out there to you. I think the Ravens, healthy, Lamar back. I think the Ravens are a much scarier team than the Buffalo Bills. And I think to me, if they continue to get healthy, and that defense has a long way to go to prove themselves otherwise from the beginning of this year. But I think even if that defense stays pretty bad, like less lower middle of the pack to back 20, I think it's the Chiefs and the Ravens. And then I think you start to get into the others. Because what I just mentioned about Drake May and his lack of help, I mean, Josh Allen has the same lack of help, maybe even worse. James Cook's a dog. I like Dalton Kincaid. But Josh Allen's receiving situation is not better than Drake May's receiving situation. And I'm not saying that's to give Drake May points. I'm saying so now the playing field's more even for those two teams. And now New England's defense can do things Buffalo's defense can't do. I think the Patriots could beat Buffalo in Foxborough in a playoff game. Why do I say that? I also have years of the Bills losing in the postseason.
I think that's fair.
And that's to the Chiefs, but still.
The Chiefs, it's weird because I feel you. I think the Chiefs are a good team. It is. It's just weird that they're 5-4. Honestly, they don't feel like a 5-4 team right now.
Good point. Because they did start to hit that stride. And then it's
the Bills was a setback.
Yeah, and they did get Rashee Rice back, and now you lost to Buffalo the way you lost. So, don't get me wrong. They are far from
got
perfect.
Denver this weekend?
This is kind of that meeting point. This is where, look, if Denver comes out and beats the Chiefs, that's a huge spot for Denver to continue to prove me wrong, right?
Yeah, me too.
To say I'm a contender in the AFC. And then B, if the Chiefs do fall to 5-5 record-wise, to your point, at some point, winning games is going to start to matter. I mean, you're a 500 football team at that point. You will have lost to the Chargers. You have lost to the Bills. You have lost to the Broncos. So
3 AFC challengers,
it's going to get real interesting. If I had to tell you today, Wednesday night, I'm taking Kansas City to win this game, and maybe even statement like. And when I say statement like, I don't mean 3 possessions or anything, but I mean control of the football game.
Yeah.
So
it's weird. I agree with you, and I'm if I had to pick right now, I would pick KC. It's just this weird thing with Denver, man. You know what I mean? They're just a weird team. Bo Nix looks like complete garbage sometimes. And then the next minute, he'll just make this, play that only one of ones can make. They're just such a weird team. Their defense is obviously really good. The front four, they get after it, but like 10-7 against the Raiders, but they're 8-2, and they've beat some good teams in there. Like I don't know. We're gonna continue to give them respect as due, but it was frustrating to watch the Eagles lose to those motherfuckers. Let me just put it that way. Like that's the best way I can put it. But yeah, Broncos.
So
let's see what they're on.
With that said, man, let's get into these power rankings. I'll throw them out there, and you can talk about it for a second. Denver coming in at number 1. It does pay me to say, because do I think they're the best team in football? No. Like we just mentioned, I mean they're 8-2. They're on a 7-game. What are they on, a 7-game win streak now? At this point, they do have the head-to-head over the Eagles at the Linc, so that's why they come in number 1. Eagles are number 2. I believe, homerish of me, sure, I believe they're the best team in football. Until, and they continue to stack up good wins on good wins. So the Eagles at number 2. Number 3, the Rams, like you mentioned, Devontae Adams is becoming a difference maker in that offense. They're better than they were last year, clearly, and they're just rolling against teams right now. Number 4, those same New England Patriots that we were just talking about. Yes, give them all the credit in the world for how they're playing right now. 8-2, I believe also on a 7-game win streak. At this point in time, and they play the Jets at home tomorrow night. So you're probably looking at 9-2 if I had to say.
You think they're covering 13.5?
I think so. I think like New England is the type of team that will go like 27, like 27-10 or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Coming at number 5, the Seahawks. Now this is a team we didn't talk about. Because they played the Cardinals. They absolutely torched the Cardinals. I mean, dude, they were up, 28-0, like after the first quarter. Sam Darnold, that offense, that defense.
Sam Darnold didn't even play like that well. No. He turned the ball over a couple times, like they still blew them out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been good ball. It's been interesting to watch Seattle so far. Coming in next at number 6, the Colts. Number 7, the Bucks, who are coming off of a loss, which I guess we could say could be knocked down, but still I think shorthanded. I still think they're a very good team. Chargers at 8, Lions 9, Bills coming off a bad loss, hanging on by a thread. At number 10, because the Packers lost, the Niners lost, a couple other teams down there that are on that honorable mentions list have not played great football to take that spot. Obviously, they beat the Chiefs head-to-head, so the Chiefs can't slide there. So, yeah, Bills hang on at number 10.
Isn't it funny the Chiefs have not been on here for like a couple weeks? They were just about to get on here, and then they lost to the Bills. Like, they just haven't played their cards right. But to be fair, there's no 4-loss teams on this list either. No, it's also interesting, man. In the middle of that, you mentioned the Seahawks at 5 and then the Rams at number 3. They play each other this weekend as well.
Huge
another marquee match. You could argue these two teams are playing the best ball right now.
Yeah.
Overall, the way they're beating teams right now, maybe not overall resume, but right now these teams are playing really good football. So that should be a heck of a game.
That game. I mean, maybe that game will be on TV, but it's a 4:05 start time. So I hate that. That it is on Fox. CBS is carrying the Chiefs Broncos at 4:25. So that'll be like the game of the week with Romo and Nance, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
But if that Seahawks Rams game isn't televised, that's bad on NFL's part.
Should be prime time game, man. You got the Cowboys and the Raiders on Monday Night Football. Dog, like who? That's money, right? Like Las Vegas. Like I'm guessing that game. Yeah, it's in Vegas. Cowboys in Vegas. That's the only reason that shit is on TV.
Cool.
It's gonna be fucking boring. Well, to be fair, the Eagles Packers, I can't say much. It was cool for me. Defensive showdown, like it was cool. But yeah, if I was a casual fan, that would be a shit.
I would hate it. And for betting purposes, it was terrible. Like unless you bet Eagles money line or Eagles spread, it was terrible, and probably nothing else. Devontae Smith anytime touchdown, like that's
you had Smitty Tutty. I don't know anybody like before the show.
That's all you could have had. I mean, over dead, team totals dead, passing yards dead, rushing yards dead, most receiving yards dead. Like just nothing. I know that I did know that the Barstool guys had tie at halftime, so like 0-0 at halftime.
Damn.
And it was more so not of like a joke play, but like they were like, I don't love. They're like. Tie first late, so I was like, all
Just because they thought it was so close, I would
Yeah.
imagine. But how do you feel about the Chargers, man? Obviously, we talked about the Steelers end of that game, but
They're so weird to me, man, because they are going to be so reliant on their quarterback play. And like, duh, like that's not breaking news. Most teams are
yeah,
going to be so reliant on their quarterback play. But like, because when it's good, it's not just good.
yeah,
It's top 3. Like when Justin Herbert is slinging the rock,
yeah,
he's pound for pound, arguably the best thrower of the football in the National Football League. And that offense can get rolling, and sometimes that defense feeds off of it. Hampton's injured, not like so, maybe they'll get the ground game back in a few weeks, whatever. But when it's bad, it's really bad. And there's turnovers, and there's just what I would call the Chargers untrustworthy, because I think Justin Herbert is untrustworthy.
that's a good way to
They're
put
a
it.
good football team that could be great. I just don't think they'll ever get there.
Yeah, I think specifically the injuries on their offensive line, those are the ones that hurt a lot because they were running the football pretty well to start the season. That's how they were able to put together a nice win against KC, balance it well with Justin Herbert. But yeah, no, I feel you. Justin Herbert has looked awesome at times this season, even using his legs, man. He's super athletic as well. But yeah, it's just the bonehead plays. I mean, he has 8 interceptions this season, and I don't know. It's interesting how the NFL is kind of changing. Interceptions used to be, I feel like, okay, like accepted. Like you can have 10 interceptions and still have like a great season.
Yeah.
But now it's like really efficiency based, man.
I mean, I would imagine that just has to be the trend of the game, because it's not so much of it is a passing league in a sense. Like there's not so much I formation, line up and pound the rock type of stuff.
Yeah.
But it's it's field position, and to me that would correlate with there being less 350-yard passing games. Like you hardly see 400-yard. That used to be like, bro, like the heyday, me growing up watching football, Peyton Manning. Obviously, this wasn't when I was, young, but Drew Brees, like Brett Favre, like there were 500-yard passing days pretty consistently, at least once a week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're never there's so many quarterbacks, our very own. 180 passing yards, the clock's ticking because we're running the ball, with shorter plays, quicker throws. So I guess that would be why, like, they correlate in that sense. So, like, you know what I mean? Like, if there's less
Herbert's got some gunslinger in him, though. He got up to 420 this season. That was against the Colts in a loss, but still.
Who did that? I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
Justin Herbert.
Okay.
He got up to 420. He had 420, 3 tutties, 2 interceptions. But
no, it happens. It's just.
But yeah, I know what you mean. Like a weekly occurrence, maybe every other week. Yeah,
and when you run the ball and you throw quicker passes that are completions, the clock's running, so there's less time, there's less possessions for your offense, which makes turning the football over kill you that much more. So, I guess, man. But with that said, I know we were looking at some Week 11 action. We're pretty late in the show here. What you got? You got anything? Obviously, Eagles lines is huge. Anything your eyes particularly on this Sunday? Obviously, you got Chiefs Broncos, like we mentioned. You got Seahawks Rams, Bengals Steelers, which obviously the records don't technically implicate it as
Bills
such.
And the Bucks.
Bills Bucks, yeah. So I mean, there are a few good matchups this week.
Yeah, that's probably about it. I mean, San Fran needs to stay alive against Arizona. There's a couple teams that are in that, like, if you lose maybe 1 or 2 more games, you're going to start. Like, we're starting to look at you outside the playoff picture, especially with the way the NFC is shaping up. You mentioned Pittsburgh and Cincinnati earlier. That's actually a pretty big game for that division, at least. The Chargers and the Jags, that's a chance for the Chargers to once again take a step forward as far as building consistency and confidence, right? But yeah, it's the Rams and the Seahawks, the Chiefs and the Broncos, and the Eagles and the Lions. Those are your 3 big matchups of the weekend. And we'll get to learn a lot about those 6 teams ultimately.
Agreed.
So I'm excited for it, man.
Who
Would you pick in those games?
I was
Well,
just
is that
about
what
to
you're
say that
gonna
to you.
ask me?
So, yes, I was going to say, obviously, I mean, give me the Eagles to take care of business at home against the Lions.
Yeah.
You know what I feel on this Chiefs-Broncos game. Chiefs also 3.5-point road favorites against an 8-2 team, undefeated at home. The Chiefs are 1-3 on the road. Do give me the Chiefs in this one. And then I'm finally going to take an underdog. Give me the Seattle Seahawks on the road to cover for sure, like a 3.5, 4-point spread if you alt it. But I think, I don't know, something's telling me that the Seattle Seahawks might turn over Matthew Stafford or Kyron Williams once or twice. And if Sam Darnold protects the football, they will win this game.
Okay. No, I feel it, man. It should be a close game. Arguably the most exciting of the 3. I mean, these are 2 high-flying offenses. Rams at home, that doesn't really matter.
No, and to be honest, they might get their building taken over.
Yeah, they could. Yeah, Seattle's pretty close. So I feel you. I'm going to go Rams at home, but that's more just because, Sam Darnold.
I just didn't want to. Well, also Sam Darnold get back game, because if you remember Vikings Rams last year in the postseason, Sam got his teeth kicked in against that defense. So
certainly
looking for some comeuppance in
both on
one,
4-game winning streak.
I didn't want to take all 3 favorites in those games, because I would assume someone's going to lose. It's like an underdog's going to win in one of those games. I'm praying that it's not our game, right? I'm praying it's not us. So
not going to be the Eagles.
Somewhere else, LA. So yeah, that's, I guess.
Would you call these games pick'ems though? Like, how do you feel? Like, with all bias taken out, would you call all 3 of these pick'ems, or is there any one that sticks out to you?
I think they're all about right. I am a little surprised at Kansas City's line. Like, Eagles at home, favored. 1.5 basically pick them. They're 2.5. It's nothing crazy. It's a field goal or less type of spread. Yeah. Rams I think could be like 2 in the same boat. They're bolstered to 3.5, so maybe a point drop. The Chiefs on the road, 5-4 versus 8-2.
3.5, right?
Being more than a field goal favorite is weird. But I think that's going to get a lot of people wanting to bet the Broncos at home with the money, with the points. And
how do you feel about that total? Because
what is it?
There is part of me that feels that, that's kind of what I was getting at earlier. Like, Broncos defense could show up and just make this a knock them out, drag them out type of game.
Is Surtain back or no? Like, is he out for like a decent amount of time, or is this like a week-to-week injury?
Let me just see real quick. Check the Broncos injury report. Yeah, because I'm not 100% sure, to be clear.
I think that's I don't think I know that's
questionable. What's the injury?
All right, so it's probably more of a week-to-week type of thing. So he could play then. He could play then. All right. Yeah, we'll see. If Denver's capable of doing so, yes, I do think that'll happen. What you just mentioned, I feel like turnovers used to be a little bit more understandable. If Bo Nix or Patrick Mahomes has a bad day that turns the ball over 2 times, their team will lose this game. So I know I'm confident in my Chiefs pick, but if Mahomes turns the ball over against that defense or shortens the field for Bo Nix, they will lose the game. Can Denver run the football against Kansas City? I believe J.K. Dobbins is out. It's R.J. Harvey time. Do they feed him? Use Bo Nix legs. Can you run the football against the Chiefs and finish when you're in the red zone? Because you get down to the red zone and come away with 3. Bad recipe, my friend.
Just feels like Denver, they're on a 7-game win streak. Like, they're just due for a loss at the same time, man. If they win this, I mean, they would be, I think you said this earlier, but they would be what? 9-2, and the Chiefs would be 5-5 at that point. Like,
I mean, that division's over.
Is it over? Like, it's over, right?
So
at least for the Chiefs, like, it would be between the Chargers and the
right. Yeah. Fair point. But yes, for the Chiefs,
the Chargers
would have to be locked in on a wild card spot. So look, man,
Big game, big
we'll see.
games.
Huge.
The rest
But
are shit though. Cowboys, Raiders, Monday night.
per
Enjoy.
usual.
Whatever.
Jets, Patriots tomorrow night. It'd be awesome.
Yeah.
But no, for guys, for myself, for Scotty, for DSM, obviously check us out on Twitter at DSM_media. Follow us. It's probably the most. No, it's not probably. It's the most active we are on any of our social platforms.
Yeah.
But then if you want to be interactive with us, like my man HP was doing earlier, make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Share it, like it, whatever you gotta do. We greatly appreciate each and every one of you. For myself, for Scotty, for DSM, have a great rest of your weekend. Peace out.
Peace, everybody.